Is becoming a digital nomad in your 20s the ultimate life hack, or is it a one-way ticket to public humiliation and failure? Stick around because the answer might surprise you. Hey, what is up guys? This is Brett here from redefine.com and welcome back to the channel. Now, if you clicked on this video, you're probably wondering whether or not becoming a digital nomad in your 20s is a good idea or whether or not you're making a massive mistake. Well, you're in the right place because today in this video, I'm going to be debunking 3 of the biggest myths that people love to throw at you. But quickly, before I get to that, if this is the first time that you've seen me, if this is the first time that you've seen this channel, and you're thinking like, who the hell is this guy? Why should I listen to this guy? Well, I moved to Thailand almost a decade ago. I've seen both the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of becoming a digital nomad. And I'm here to tell you firsthand that a lot of the scaremongering that you hear from people is simply pure fiction. Starting with the first piece of bullshit that people like to tell you, and that is that you're not old enough or wise enough to travel the world or live in foreign countries. Now, this is often told to you by people who are perhaps a lot older than you, maybe your parents, and these are people who have actually never taken any risks themselves. You know, this always makes me laugh. It's never the person that's well-traveled, that has been all over the world, that gives you this advice, is it? It always seems to be the people that have never done anything with their lives, who have just worked a 9 to 5 and are scared of absolutely everything. You know, what a lot of younger people do is they confuse age with wisdom, and this is a massive mistake. Trust me, people can be a lot older than you and be completely shut off mentally. What you get from traveling and what you get from the school of life, as I like to call it, is far greater than you will ever get from just following the crowd. Not only that, but you get to learn things and you get to see things that would have been impossible had you have stayed put and conformed to everybody else around you. Now, I'm not just talking about like the sites, the cultures and all the different places here. What I'm talking about is opportunity. You see, when you immerse yourself in an unfamiliar setting, your mind kind of goes through this transformation. You go from having this kind of narrow, limited view of the world to having this kind of like panoramic view, right? That shows you what's really possible. And it's kind of like having a superpower, really. Whilst all the other people back home see the world in black and white, you kind of start to see it in this multi-dimensional color. And this is something that people who are telling you not to travel and who are telling you not to explore simply cannot understand, because they still see the world in black and white, right? They've played it safe their entire lives, and as a result, they haven't experienced this shift in perception. Let me give you an example, okay? There's this fantastic book that I recommend everybody read, and it's called Shoe Dog. It's written by the founder of Nike, or Nike, as you Americans like to call it. Now, in this book, the guy who founded Nike, his name's Phil Knight, he basically talks about how he took a trip around the world, including stopping at Japan, where he secured the distribution rights for not Nike, but Tiger running shoes in the US. Now, he started selling these shoes out of the trunk of his car, and this eventually evolved into what we all know today as Nike, yeah, one of the biggest brands in the world. Now, he would have never discovered this opportunity if it hadn't have been for him traveling around the world. If he had played it safe, if he had just stayed in Oregon, which I think that's where he's from, who knows what he would have done, right? This is a great example of how traveling can reveal to you opportunities that you never would have seen before. And it's funny, but I guess you could kind of say that Phil Knight, the guy who invented Nike, is pretty much an OG digital nomad, right? Interesting. Anyway, the next thing people like to tell you is that you won't be able to travel and you won't be able to become a digital nomad because you won't be able to generate the income to support yourself, or you don't have the skills to pay the bills, as I like to say. Firstly, let's just get one thing straight, okay? This stereotype that all young people who travel are somehow fucking drifters and just working dead-end jobs is simply not true, okay? Times have changed. Younger people are far more smarter and far more aware than older generations like to give them credit for. You see, when you're younger, you have a distinct advantage. Yes, you may not have a lot of experience or income, but listen, when you're younger, you are fearless. You learn things faster, you're less jaded, and you're willing to take a lot more risk. That, for the most part, comes down to the fact that your demands are lower. Now, I've spoken about this many times on this channel before, about how you can pretty much get by on $1,000 a month in Southeast Asia. And that's because when you're young, you don't really care about living in something like a 1-bedroom condo that costs $200 a month. You haven't evolved into this spoiled, complaining member of society yet, and you're adaptable, right? You can get by on a lot less, because at the end of the day, you're just happy to be free. Yeah, you're happy to not be living in your parents' house, and you're especially happy to not be having to spend like hundreds of pounds a month to living some shitty bedsit back in the UK. Now, believe me when I say, I know many older people out here in Thailand who have shared with me their plans to start an online business, and they still bring it up and they still talk to me about it years later. This is not the case with younger people that I meet. Like I said, younger people are far less jaded, they have fewer hang-ups, and they just get out there and they just fucking do it. Which, believe it or not, like the Nike slogan says, that is all you need to do. There are so many young people that I've met over the years who have gone on to make some like serious money, okay? And the haters, they know it, okay? This idea that a 20-year-old can be making 10, 20, 30k a month from their laptop on a beach in Thailand makes these people absolutely seethe. However, rather than just accepting it as possible and doing it for themselves, they'd much rather spend their time spreading negativity and putting other people down. Do not let them. Instead, what you should do is you should come over and you should join us inside a Nomad School. Nomad School is a free online community that is created specifically for people like you. It's for people who are fed up with the negativity and who are struggling to find positive, like-minded people. Inside a Nomad School, you can meet amazing digital nomads who are absolutely crushing it, who are all overcoming their fears, and who really just don't give a shit or don't have any time for the naysayers, okay? So if you're not a member yet, it's pretty easy to join. All you have to do is click the link in the description, enter your name and email address, and I'll send you over your free invite. Before I wrap this video up, there is one last piece of BS that people like to tell you that I want to address, and that is that stepping away from a traditional career path in your 20s, mind you, will somehow set you back. This is such outdated thinking, okay? We're not living in the 1950s anymore. People can go to university, they can start a career at any age. And in fact, a lot of people go back to university and they start a new career later in life because the thing that they originally studied in their 20s wasn't actually the thing that they wanted to do long term. Isn't that a surprise? How many people have been in this situation? How many people have gone to university, immediately started climbing the corporate ladder simply because they felt pressured by the rest of society to do so? They come out of uni with mountains of debt and they end up completely miserable. So in conclusion, is becoming a digital nomad in your 20s a reckless decision, or is there a massive upside to it? Listen, if people try and tell you that you're not smart enough, that you aren't skilled enough, or that you somehow are going to ruin your entire life by stepping out of the workforce, you should politely tell them to go fuck themselves, okay? The world has changed. We're not living in the 1950s anymore, and you've got opportunities at your fingertips that previous generations could only dream about. The real risk here isn't going out there and failing. The real risk is not seizing the opportunity when it's right in front of you. That's it for today, guys. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, you're probably going to really like this video. And like I said, if you're struggling to find like-minded people who you can connect with, who you can share your vision with, then head on over to Nomad School. Link's right here. We've got a great community there. It's free to sign up. Goodbye for now. Take care.